Hey, welcome to another episode of Real Talk Live, where we talk about movies, TV shows, and all the latest entertainment news. I'm your host, Krypton Case, and today Maher is not with us. He's on leave temporarily, so Rokan is joining us, and he will be one of our hosts. How you doing? Yeah, it's pretty hot here as well. But we have Fear Jason joining here us today. Hello, Fear. Let's begin with the first topic of today, which is Jurassic World Dominion. Now, I haven't seen this movie yet. I was planning on going today, but I got caught up. But I loved the first two movies, Jurassic World and Fallen Kingdom. I like Fallen Kingdom more. I don't know why people don't like that movie, but I do. Um, it was just, kind of a horror movie and it had great visuals, something surprising in the middle and stuff like that. So I really like that movie. So I was hoping that Dominion, follows that up and makes it even better. Especially with Colin coming back from the first movie. Um, I don't know. I've just been hearing some bad stuff about this movie. But you've seen this movie. What do you think of it? Yeah, I loved it.
So going into this movie, yeah, it's not good. I'm gonna be blunt with you, man. I'll tell you what I do like. I like the old cast in it. It was great to see him back again. It's great to follow through with them. They don't feel like in an extended cameo. They have like a big role in the whole film. So I like them in the movie, and I do like. There's this motorcycle chase that you've seen in all the trailers, with Chris Pratt, and if they're going through the streets. That scene is like the most exciting part of the movie. I was actually having a good time, and so I like that, and I like the cinematography. Some of the shots look amazing. I will admit that, but yeah, the problem with Dominion is the fact that they don't take it. They didn't follow through what had happened at the end of Fallen Kingdom. They don't. What I mean by that is that at the end of Fallen Kingdom, the dinosaurs are let loose, and I remember thinking to myself, okay, so the next movie is just going to be complete chaos. Like it's going to be like humans versus dinos. The battle over over land, like that type of movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
They don't take it. They do not take advantage of that. All of that shit gets glossed over because dinos are part of society, and people are so casual about it. Like it's like there's a fucking Walmart across the street. It is that kind of casual.
Okay.
And they ditch all of that. They ditch all of that to do this random storyline. This random storyline with this evil organization that that Dodson is heading up. That, I'm going to be honest with you, I did not like, because it felt so unlike Jurassic Park. It felt like a 90s disaster movie plot. I didn't like it.
Damn.
And yeah, and I didn't like basically the dinosaurs don't even matter in this movie. It feels like they're just thrown to the foreground to make room for this big bad, organization.
Oh.
So yeah. So you do that, and then kind of like, Dodson's the bad guy. He's played by Richard Parker from the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and he was bad in this movie. He was such a cartoony bad guy.
Damn.
Like they didn't even write him as like an interesting bad guy at all. They just wrote him as just this kind of like super generic cartoony type of bad guy, and it just really let me down, because you've seen him in the Amazing Spider-Man movies. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
And they just write him as this one-note bad guy. There's even one part of the movie where like everything's going wrong for him, and he throws this temper tantrum. And I swear to you, I started laughing. It was that goofy.
Wow.
And yeah. So you have things like that in the movie, and then the way the movie ends is that it doesn't even feel like it doesn't even end like a conclusion, like a closer. It just feels like it ends like a standard Jurassic Park movie.
So, are you saying that this is not the end of the franchise? Or did they just, leave it open for someone else to come make a new movie?
I think it could go kind of either way, that they could close it right here, but it feels very underwhelming as a closer. Or they could do another movie down the line, or even a series in the Jurassic Park world if they wanted to.
Interesting. That
Yeah.
sounds like the experience I had with The Rise of Skywalker. I loved The Last Jedi, and when I got into that movie, I was like, firstly, the plot just, keeps going as if someone is writing mindless, illogical shit on a paper, and the scenes just go from one scene to the next as if it just has to go because it's written on the paper and not because it's logical or what's happening, stuff like that. And on top of that, it just felt so disconnected from the storyline that we were seeing from The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. And I was like, why did they do this? And then in the finale, they just did the, Endgame ripoff type of thing. And I was just like, it felt like such a product movie. You have to, how, 10 suits get into a room and they just pull out the data sheet and, they tell Abrams that, these things, we have a list of top 10 things that people get excited for when they come to a Star Wars movie. We need these to be one movie. Go make it. So that was the type of movie that I got from that.
Yeah, honestly, it's not too dissimilar to Rise of Skywalker. It definitely has those types of vibes where it felt like the studio said to Trevorrow, okay, people really like, the old cast reuniting. We see that in, Ghostbusters. We see that in Matrix and Spider-Man. You got to put the old cast in this movie, and you got to do this right here. And so they had to concoct this random ass storyline to just put the old cast in there and have them do this thing that happens. And on that level, it makes the old cast kind of interesting because it gives them something to do. It makes Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard just the most boring part of the movie.
Damn, they're the leads.
It's like I said, just it went wrong. And I looked up because I was like, okay, this movie does not feel like it was written by the same guys who wrote the other two Jurassic World movies. And I looked it up, and the writer of this movie is someone by the name of Emily Carmichael. And Emily Carmichael is the person who wrote Pacific Rim Uprising.
Oh.
Which, Pacific Rim Uprising was similar to this in that it puts the robots versus monsters aspect in the background and just has this random storyline of who's driving this like drone, this robot as like its main storyline that makes it go, this isn't Pacific Rim, this is just some random mystery storyline. And that's how I felt with this when they just throw the dinosaurs to the foreground and do this kind of bioweapon super evil organization storyline as your main focus.
Oh, yeah, that would definitely suck. But look,
Yeah.
I was excited for this movie, but hearing things like this, it just breaks my heart because I was, I always find myself in these situations where, um, I love a franchise where most people probably don't like it as much as I did. But then, they change it up so much that it doesn't interest me anymore, and it just feels, and nobody even likes it now, right? Like, how many people are praising this movie? Not many people are praising this movie at all. So
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things that people say, "Oh, it's the worst Jurassic Park movie." I still think the third movie is the worst, but this is like a runner up.
I saw your ranking, and that I think that is a very popular type of ranking. Like, I would definitely rank it that way myself as well. I do
Yeah.
think that Fallen Kingdom is better than Jurassic World, because it has an aesthetic, it has a style, a look, and the horror. The dinosaurs, in that are kind of like a villain. They act like a human villain. The horror type of villain. I liked that aspect
Yeah.
of it. They creep up and they do the evil smile and all that. It's just funny and scary at the same time. So I just like that stuff. The first movie is cool. Jurassic World feels much like the first, Planet of the Apes movie. It was kind of
Mm-hmm.
wholesome and bright and all that. And then we go into Dawn, which is complete shift. you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like that, but it's just unfortunate that the third movie turned out like this. I'm still gonna go watch it myself, but it's just disappointing because I hate when you have these types of complete 180s from the franchise, which you do for what? Like, most people don't even like it now. So why did you do it for? And it's ironic that it happened to
It's
Colin again.
Yeah, especially when it's this late in the franchise too,
Yeah,
because like like if it was the second movie, I feel like it'd be much more forgiving. But this is the third movie of the franchise of the trilogy, and
right.
you spent the first two movies establishing things, then you do this random 180 that you're kind of like, what's going on here? But it's funny you mentioned that about Colin, and this is something I kind of want to bring up. I honestly think it's a blessing we didn't get Colin's episode 9 after watching this. I you're gonna hate me when I say this, but I do think Rise of Skywalker is the lesser of these two evils.
Damn, that's saying something because I absolutely
Yeah,
that look, movies never make me angry, right? Even if it's a very bad movie, I just don't feel angry. I feel like, oh, it's just not for me, it's boring or disappointing, and I just turn it off, right? Um,
right.
but Rise of Skywalker just made me angry because of how it felt like the movie was assuming that the audience is the most stupid and you can get away with anything, and the movie is laughing at you for being stupid. It felt that way. And that's literally one of the worst experiences in my life for a movie theater, honestly, because of how stupid that movie is. But if you're saying that this is the less of the two evils, then I don't know, man, because look, when I read the scripts for that, or someone did a YouTube video, you know reading the scripts in a dramatic way and using pictures and clips and stuff like that. They did a pretty good presentation for that, for what his movie would have been, Duel of the Fates, and I thought that was pretty good. It wasn't, it still wasn't what I would have wanted as a follow up for The Last Jedi, but it still was in continuity to that, right? It was
Right.
more hopeful. Finn had a bigger role. Kylo had a better, ending and all that. The Knights of Ren and all that are there. So it still felt like a follow up. The Rise of Skywalker just, I don't think they could have made a worse movie than that. But if you're saying that that is the lesser of these two evils, oh man, I'm now contemplating if I even should go watch this.
I mean, I think it'll be on Peacock in a few weeks, in a few weeks from now. So you could just, I mean, I don't know if you have Peacock, but if you do, you can just kind of like watch on there for free. Granted, you won't gain your time back, but at least they won't have your money.
It's true. All right, so let's move on to another, you know, interesting topic where monsters eat people or people eat people or something like that. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know. Crimes of the Future. All right.
Mhm.
Now, this is a David Cronenberg movie, and I know nothing about it. I didn't even watch the full trailer because I was already interested in it, so I skipped the trailer itself. I saw the posters, I heard good things. I'm absolutely gonna check it out, and people who have seen this movie um, obviously are raving about it, and also tell me that it's really weird, which is definitely right up my alley. So, what did you think of it?
It's a really good movie. It is a classic Cronenberg type of film, which you have to kind of like know what you're getting into like that. Like if you've seen like Videodrome, Scanners, Existence, Dead Ringers, those types of films, it's definitely in that type of like vein. But like yeah, the movies are basically is about it takes place somewhere in the future, and Viggo Mortensen and Lea Seydoux are kind of like these performance artists, and they're kind of like whole gimmick is they remove their organs as kind of like part of a like as part of their performance art, and it garners the attention of this guy who wants to have a who wants to kind of like get who wants to hire them to do this act. I'm not going to say what it is because it's a big kind of like plot point. So that's kind of what the whole movie basically just kind of like revolves around.
Okay.
But Viggo Mortensen is great, and I know I'm trying to be really vague. Just
Yeah, that's
when
good.
you want to go check. But yeah, Viggo Mortensen's great in the movie. So is Lisa Seydoux is like the standout of this movie, obviously, and Kristen Stewart is in the movie here and there. She's kind of like this. She's kind of like this woman who's just obsessed with Viggo Mortensen, kind of like a creepy stalker type of way. So, but she's really good in the movie though. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth checking out. It is weird as hell though. That's for sure. But it's not like it made me want to kind of like turn away or anything like that, like how I was when I watched Men. When the weird stuff still happens, like you can sit there on the screen and just appreciate it. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
On the scale of um, The Witch, Midsummer, and Mother, where does this
Mhm.
fit into that?
Not really. Not really. There's nothing like it's not like you're seeing a baby being eaten like you did in Mother. Okay, there's nothing as bad as bad as that.
Okay.
Like it's just kind of like standard, just kind of like people going to bodies and ripping organs and hearts out and things like that. So
So
it's
more
it's
on the side
very
of body
it's very
horror.
yeah, oh yeah, it is definitely. It's more on the side of body horror, but also it's more on the side of like drama too. Like it's definitely the Cronenberg body horror film with the most acting in it. I can say that much.
Nice. I'm surprised Kristen Stewart is doing this role though, but I'm also happy about it because she's fantastic. And the last movie I think I saw of hers was Underwater, and
Hmm.
I regretted so much that I didn't see that in the theater because that movie was awesome.
It, I still need to watch it, but people tell me how good that movie
Dude,
is though.
especially the third act will just that made me wish that I saw it in the theater. But yeah, I'm excited to see this, and unfortunately this doesn't release here. Obviously, even if it did, they would probably censor the shit out of it, so I'm glad it's not releasing in the theater. I'll definitely see it when it comes on digital.
Yeah, I think it comes in digital in like 2 weeks actually, because you go on iTunes. I think it says it comes out in digital in like June on June 26th. So you have that chance.
Awesome. All right, so let's move on to the third topic of today, and that is The Boys. we have episode 4 of season 3. But before we review that, we'll just, say it right up front because I know I will forget this. Season 4 has also been announced officially, so that's coming back. And that is awesome because firstly, it's not a surprise because that's their, premium show. Everybody watches this show over there. So it definitely has to be renewed. But I'm glad that it's getting renewed, even after Lord of the Rings is coming. And, I'm just excited for this. Because even this, season storyline is so amazing. I'm loving every bit of it. Every episode has some, awesome moments, and the momentum is not falling at all. And uh, since the first season itself, the momentum has not fallen, and I'm just glad that it keeps going on with a really good story. They have the source material to do this, but I haven't read those comics, but most people say that they have improved on the comics, so the show is even better than the source material. Yeah, look, uh, ev- everybody knows, like, Homelander is one of the best characters. People love him or hate him, whatever, but they have a strong reaction to him. Homelander has been fantastic this season as well, and in this episode, he finally, you know, kind of is unleashed because he let himself be unleashed. Until now, he was kind of being restricted by himself and um, Stan Edgar, but now he doesn't have that anymore. He just said, fuck it, and I'm gonna do whatever I want. And that's the best kind of Homelander we have, as we've seen in the previous seasons as well. Whenever he's in that mode, it's always the best. He brings twists to the show. He can do anything. And the one scene that actually was really surprising and awesome to watch for me was the Stan Edgar scene, in the a tower. Uh,
Mhm.
that scene was amazing because um, even after losing, he had this veneer, and he was talking to Homelander and still, overpowering him. And I was like, wow, this dude is something. And
Mhm.
I'm sure he'll definitely come back, at the back end of the season. But I'm just loving how Homelander is and how the boys are, how the conflicts there are growing kind of because of, them using B24. So it's interesting. It's gonna be interesting seeing how Huey responds to all of this and how other people respond to him responding to all of this. And there's also Starlight's, connections and all that. So the scene with Homelander and Starlight also was pretty fantastic on the rooftop. Dude,
Mhm.
that I did not see that coming.
Oh,
Oh
dude.
shit. So what do you think of it?
I, I'm loving what we've been seeing from the boys so far. I think this is first of all, I think this is the best Anthony Starr has been as Homelander because he's so unhinged now,
Yeah.
and he doesn't care, and that I always like seeing a villain who has some type of like code to them. Just be like, all right, you know what, fuck it, and just I'm just gonna go crazy. Like I love it, and I like how he puts he basically he does even just with him just kind of like that he still puts fear in the whole team, and I like that. Like there's that moment when like where Stan Edgar has been kind of like outed by Victoria, and you see the look on Starlight's face, like oh my god, like because she looked at Stan Edgar as kind of like her protection, and now that he's outed, it's she just feels like it's starting to kind of like fall apart, and I like that type of moment right there. I also really like I also really kind of like what I found was pretty hilarious was the A Train commercial moment, just
Yeah.
because it parodies the Kendall Jenner Pepsi ad right there,
Yep.
and I thought like I bursted out laughing because I've been waiting to see that ad just get ripped apart by not just SNL. So it was hilarious to see the boys do that.
Yeah. The
But
the most important, aspect of the boys, obviously apart from story and all that, is how it critiques real life things and it doesn't hold back and it doesn't pick sides or anything. So I just love that.
Exactly. Just like, it's a very kind of like South Park type, type of way of just ripping everybody and everything apart, but with superheroes.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, but yeah, I really like it. I really like how Kimiko focused this episode was too, because I think Kimiko's such a cool character. I just like seeing her just rip everybody apart in that bedroom right there. It was awesome, man.
Yeah. And that guy in the bedroom, he kind of looked like a movie executive in the real life too, you know?
Kind of does, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that scene was really cool. And again, it shouldn't shock me, but that scene kind of shocked me when it was playing out, uh, because of how suddenly it happens. But yeah, that was a really cool scene, and I'm just loving the episodes. I cannot wait for the fifth one, and the sixth one especially because the cast have said that the sixth one is their favorite one.
Yeah, the sixth one is Hero Gasm,
Yeah,
which I mean,
much
it's
awaited.
much awaited. Yeah, people have been looking forward to this one. Which I I looked at the panels of it from the comic book, and I just looked at it and I said, "Oh my god!" Like I was thinking to myself, if they do half, I would be shocked if Amazon allows them to do half of this.
I mean, you've seen the first episode beginning scene, right?
Yeah, and when I saw that, I was like, "Yep, they're gonna do all out on Hero Guys," and I was like, "God help us all."
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting to see that. And I just, I love it when they are allowed to do stuff like this, and it just shows that creativity always wins, and I love that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And well, I mean, it's the perfect way to set it apart from all the other superhero content that we have. So
Yep.
thanks.
Hey, Siani. All right,
Yeah,
so
you. Woo.
so let's jump on to the next topic, which is Miss Marvel. All right,
Mhm.
look, I I don't remember correctly, but the last time the trailer came out and we reviewed the trailer, I think I was just um laughing at it or I didn't like it and I definitely said that I'm not gonna watch it, and I have said it multiple times as well. I'm not gonna watch it. But I heard some good things and they said that, it has a style and stuff like that. So I thought, why not give episode 1 a try, because this is being directed by Bilal and Adil, who are doing Bad Girl. So I wanted to see how their work is. So I gave episode 1 a shot, and to my surprise, it was fucking amazing. I loved it so much. It was, I didn't think I would like it one bit, because firstly, I don't know Miss Marvel, the character. I don't give a shit about Captain Marvel. That movie sucked so bad that I
Damn, bruh.
wanted nothing to do with it. So Miss Marvel is a fan of Captain Marvel, so seeing her fangirling for one of the worst characters in the MCU would have been absolutely, terrible for me. But it wasn't. It was so good. The way her character is presented, the way she acts, the way her family is presented, and the scenes at home versus what she's dealing with. All the characters, like including Bruno, her friend, all of that is so good, and um, they don't rely much on the MCU isms, but you still get those. Like,
Mhm.
because she's a fan, like obviously she would be talking about that when Avenger Con stuff like that is mentioned. You'll get all the Avengers stuff in there. That was also a really cool scene to see the amount of work that went into creating that. I know people are saying that it should have been like bigger and like Comic Con and stuff like that. I get that, but it was kind of small, but it was more than what I was expecting because of how many jokes and Easter eggs and stuff like that they put in there for us to check out. And they didn't even zoom in on that and show it for like a minute or stuff like that. It was just quick things. You can pause it and see it if you want. But the amount of work that went into that was really cool to see. But apart from that, her powers are really cool as well. We didn't see much of it yet, but we saw the beginning of it, and it really looked cool to me. I don't find any problem in because I have no previous version of my character for this, so I don't care if she has stretch powers or not. It doesn't matter to me that much. But they definitely did the character right. I feel like I know a lot of people are saying this, so I will echo that as well. She feels like a real girl, and real character, and she is playing like one. And especially with me, being in a similar family like this, it really hits close to home. I know a lot of people are kind of laughing at some of the scenes from the parents, but I'm not, because I have been through that and it's not funny. Uh, but yeah, stuff like that is pretty cool to see, and the story is also really good. um I'm kind of curious who the big bad is going to be this season, because the first episode didn't really have any sort of villain or anything like that. So that was also very cool. I would say this show is very delightful and very wholesome, and most importantly, I love when filmmakers take put in effort to do something creative for their projects. So I saw it here. Definitely the camera work was really good. Like, there was some really unnecessary stuff, like she just hopping onto her bed, but the camera, they built a whole camera rig for that, and it goes all over her, and then upside down. It's really not necessary, but it was really cool to see. So I like when efforts like that are put in, and it shows, and it keeps things interesting. Even the really mundane stuff like she goes through, is seems interesting when stuff like that is presented. But also, I'm much more excited for Batgirl now because of this episode, and I just love the style they chose for the show. It kind of gives you the Scott Pilgrim and Into the Spider Verse type of vibe, and yeah, I'm really loving the show. Well, it's just one episode, but still, I'm really loving the aesthetic of the show and how the style is. What do you think?
I I think it's off to a fantastic start. And I mean, we look back on when we did our kind of like first thoughts on it. I admit, like when I saw the trailer, I said, "Oh, it looks kind of like an ABC Family type of show." And then I had to kind of like bite my words when I got that birthday message from Iman, which
Oh
I was
yeah,
like, yeah,
that was
I
really
was
cool.
like, it was. I was like, geez, now I feel like an asshole for saying that. But yeah, and then I watched the show, and first off, I was like, okay, this is not an ABC Family show, Marvel show. That was like, this feels like a Marvel version of Lizzie McGuire, with the way kind of like the camera is, and kind of like how it, a lot of Liz McGuire was about going to kind of like her imagination and her, which was kind of like her way of combating her like preteen type of angst right there. So I saw all those kind of similarities. I admit I've never read the Miss Marvel comic books. I mean, the only thing I know about Miss Marvel was she would team up with Spider-Man in a few kind of like issues in later years, but that was pretty much it. So going into this, and first off, I'm surprised was this your first exposure to Adil and Bilal? Like, you didn't see Bad Boys 3?
No, I haven't, because I have never seen any Bad Boys movie, so I skipped that movie as well.
All right, well, step one, watch the Bad Boys trilogy. Right. But yeah, like you do see they're kind of like that's kind of like their camera style. Their camera style is in background because they have that very kind of like fast and fluent type of style that you see in Bad Boys for Life, and it's in here. So it's cool that
Nice.
they were able to bring their style into it because it makes me think that Marvel are starting to actually care about letting their directors run a little more wild with the look of things. I mean, you look at Multiverse of Madness, and you see those Sam
Most
Raimi.
of Phase 4, actually.
Oh, that's actually true. I didn't think. I mean, I thought it was
Moon
just the
Knight,
Multiverse of Madness.
WandaVision, Loki, they're all kind of, unique in their own ways. Only I think Hawkeye and Falcon and Winter Soldier kind of felt like, MCU Phase 3 shows or Phase 2. But yeah, overall, I do think that it's kind of Phase 4 has been this way. Like Feige, it's either between, Feige allowing all these creatives to, do whatever they want, and between that and him not getting the time to be on all the sets to supervise everything because there's so much MCU content being made every year.
Exactly. That he's just juggling himself through all these projects that he's kind of let the directors do more with the style and everything like that. Because the way I see it, and I texted this to my friend after I watched it. I basically said to him, "This show is like Spider-Man: Homecoming with more personality."
Yes,
It's
I
just
didn't want to dunk on Spider-Man, but if Spider-Man was like this Homecoming, I would have liked it even more.
same. I would have. I actually would have enjoyed Homecoming had it had that kind of like type of style to it. Which I get. It's a little jarring to some people, but to me, it fits that kind of like teenage mind type of
Yeah.
thing. So I think it works good. I think Iman Vellani is awesome as Miss Marvel because she's charismatic and she's like super likable. And apparently, this is how apparently she's just like that in real life. Like my friend who knows her, he told me that, and I said to him, "Wow, I guess she really doesn't have to do that much acting."
Yep. That is the reason why after finishing the episode, I just went on a huge rabbit hole of her interviews. you know, I just wanted to know, firstly, I just wanted to know how the directors, came up with this concept and all that. But in going through that, I've, discovered that she is basically that energetic and likable and all that in real life as well. So I just kept seeing, interviews of her. Some people went into the letterbox thing. Remember how people discovered her letterbox and it was
Yeah,
all reviews of DC movies and stuff like that. So she talks about that as well in some of those, and it's pretty cool. Like she's a film nerd, she's a cinephile, and she's also super into the MCU. And she has no, bias there, and it's really cool to see that from a very young age she has been like this, and obviously she has been to a filmmaking school and all that, so that's where it was coming from probably. But it was really cool to see her interviews, man. Like I really do think that she's a future star in the MCU, and even the articles coming out of her having these little spouts with Kevin Feige are so funny
hmm
because she basically is a Marvel expert, and Feige is like, no, but the MCU is 616, and she's like, no, the comics are 616, the MCU is not. She's like, she's the typical, comic book Twitter purist.
exactly.
It's
She's a
just
comic book
funny.
store purist that has a role in now has a role in a show and now a movie too. Since I can't wait to see her in the Marvels.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I also got to say, we talk about kind of like the parents. I just want to say the dad was fucking awesome. I was like, I mean, he's a dork. He's a dork, yeah, but he's such a sweet guy.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. They're both kind of gaslighting parents, and I just don't know why people are liking them so much because it's clearly affecting Ms. Marvel so much. their restrictions and stuff. But
Hmm.
yeah, I understand. Like, from the outside, it does look like that. But having living through that, I know that it's not good. It's very gaslighting in nature. Like, it's
Fair
very
enough.
frustrating.
Fair enough, man. I just want to say I felt bad for him when
Yeah,
she told him,
true.
"Oh, your Hulk costume is humiliating,"
Yeah,
and he just had this sad look on his face. I'm like, "Oh, come on, just let him go."
yeah, yeah. That was a really good scene, and a very realistic scene too, because teenagers, they usually say stuff like that without
Oh yeah.
without realizing, what they said and stuff like that. So yeah, and I just remembered Grace's review, and she was talking about that scene, and she was basically like, you should never do that, never do that to your parents, don't do that, and she was being like that, and I was like, oh shit.
Damn. I haven't I haven't watched Grace's review actually. I haven't seen it,
Yeah, even
but
even she liked it a lot. But yeah, man, like I'm so excited for episode 2. I cannot believe they didn't release 2 episodes at once. Because I guess they were really confident that the first episode is a super hit and people will love it, so they don't need to do 2 episodes. So
mhm.
yeah, man, I'm totally in, and I'm gonna watch all the way through.
Yeah. Did you see the end credit scene by the way?
Yes, I did. I did
Yeah.
not realize who that was until I saw some video on YouTube, but that's a pretty cool connection.
Yeah, yeah, me too. It has me thinking like maybe Damage Control are the big bads of the season that they want to hunt down Miss Marvel, I guess.
Maybe. I mean, she did some damage at that thing, so it has to
Yeah,
be.
we'll
I
see.
mean, yeah. But let's wait and see what happens. And yeah, I'm definitely excited for the Marvels as well, because look, the first movie was trash, I know, but I just was really happy seeing that they replaced the directors and someone else is doing it. So that gave me some hope. And also, Proton in WandaVision was pretty cool. So seeing her would have been awesome. And now we have this character, which is amazing, which who probably will carry that movie. So I'm definitely excited for that one now.
Yeah, yeah, same with me. I mean, like I before with WandaVision and the Marvels, I was and Miss Marvel, I was kind of like Captain Marvel sequel. I was like fine, whatever. But now that we have Miss Marvel in it, we've seen Iman as Miss Marvel. I'm kind of like, I really want to see like where she goes now. Well,
Yep.
after the season is done.
Yeah. I hope there's a Captain Marvel versus Ms. Marvel fight, because I would love to see that.
It'd be hard. You really are a heartless bastard to see her getting pummeled by her hero.
Why do you think that will happen? I just think that she will, get beat up because she's so bad.
Yeah,
Okay, I have a question.
heartless.
Do
Shoot.
you think, do you think, I saw a theory on, Twitter, someone posted a thread, and they basically said that this power that she currently has is due to the Terrigen Mist, and she will basically go through the Terrigenesis and become an inhuman, and by the end of the show, and that's when she will get her classic powers. Do you think that would be a good idea to do?
I mean, I think that'd be cool as kind of like a way to evolve into that in a lot of ways. I mean, I'm always up for evolution of any kind. It's why I like Zack Superman. It's why I really like Spider-Man No Way Home because of that Spider-Man evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So I would not be opposed to the idea of her powers evolving into that.
Yeah,
It just depends on how it's done.
yeah, that's the key thing, because even I think that's a cool idea, and it will definitely have that classic power set as well. But I kind of was not wanting that, because it's too similar to Reed Richards, and
Mhm.
in general, I don't find that power to be that, you know, interesting. Um, but we already have Mr. Fantastic, so why do we need another one? But it would be cool if they, go back to that, as she had that in the comics. So
Mhm.
that would be cool. But what's more exciting about this is the Inhumans thing. If she's an Inhuman, that would be even more interesting, and that would also suggest that her mom might have powers.
Yeah, that is true because I mean it's like you see the bracelet and her mom gets a dirty look at the bracelet
Mm-hmm.
and it does maybe feel like there's got some kind of like family lineage of these powers. I mean, we already know we see Black Bolt in Multiverse of Madness, so it wouldn't surprise me that their plan would be to do a better version of Inhumans this time around because they've also done Inhumans on Agents of Shield and whatever the fuck that show was. That Inhuman show, whatever it was. So
Yeah,
I would not be surprised for them to look at this as a mulligan for Inhumans.
true. That would definitely be interesting. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so let's move on to the next topic, which is Prey. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have never seen any Predator movie except the Shane Black one.
Say what?
Yeah, and I didn't mind it. It was fine, but I didn't think it was great. So I had no attachment to Predator or anything like that. But now after seeing this trailer, I'm all in, man, because it looks fucking amazing just because of how the tone is, how, thrilling and suspenseful it feels, even the trailer itself. So I'm just loving the setting as well. You know, rarely do we see these kinds of eras shown in movies. And also, one more thing, the director, I'm forgetting his name, but he is the one who did 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Dan Trachtenberg.
Dude, yes. I loved that movie a lot. I thought that it
Same.
was a pretty well done movie, with a basic plot and, very little characters. He made an awesome movie in that. So, I just liked that movie a lot. So, this trailer, I'm not surprised that he's doing this because it looks awesome. And I hope they release this in theaters because I'm definitely going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Well, first off, it surprised me that you've only seen the Shane Black Predator movie because I fucking hate that film. I hate I hate that movie
A
because
lot of
they
people
because
do.
it's yeah, I hate it because it's a comedy, and the Predator franchise has always been a horror franchise. You know, it's about an alien that hunts you, cloaks you, grabs you, and then rips your spine out. And I remember watching The Predator, and they throw literally joke after joke after joke that I remember my first Twitter reaction. I wrote on Twitter, my first reaction was something like, "We got a contender for comedy of 2018, and it's The Predator."
I think that movie was kind of like the execs going, "Oh, Marvel is so popular now. Let's go make this movie but Marvelize it." And if I remember correctly, there were some
Exactly.
exact shots and, jokes played into that movie that the MCU has. So,
I'm just picturing like in movie execs being like, all right, we can do Predator versus Bigger Predator, and the studio goes, well, that's not different enough, and the guy goes, what if we do Predator versus Bigger Predator in the suburbs? But it's funny, and they're like MCU style humor. He's like, by the time we're done, it will be Predator humor. I swear, I think that was how the meetings at Fox went at that time.
yeah.
But but it's like, okay, so yeah, so the first I'll just give you a quick rundown. The first Predator, John McTiernan directed it, and it's with Arnold, and it's a classic, man. You really got to check it out. Predator 2, it's got Danny Glover and Bill Paxton, and it's fine. I mean, it's
Oh.
Predator in the city, but it's a cool movie. Alien versus Predator, that movie stinks. And Alien vs Predator Requiem, that film stinks even
I've
more.
seen some
And
scenes of AVP. And that is probably the reason I've never seen any Predator movie ever.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you because that, like I said, that the first Alien vs Predator stinks. But wait, if you ever see Alien vs Predator Requiem, you will hate it even more. It's horrible. And then they did Predators, which is like a Robert Rodriguez produced Predator sequel. That movie is actually really cool. I actually I'd recommend you'd watch that because that movie is just awesome. Even though Adrian Brody tries to do Arnold Schwarzenegger lines in the movie, and it doesn't work as good as Arnold, but it's still a cool movie. And so going from that, and then from The Predator, which was a comedy goof fest. It surprised me not thinking about that film. Poor Olivia Munn. But going into Prey, I think Prey looks amazing. What I like about it the most is that they're taking it back to basics of the first Predator, which was the hunters being hunted. A group of people being trapped in the jungle with a predator. Like that is what the Predator franchise has been, and they're going back to that type of vibe. And I like the fact that the thing with the first Predator movie is that it's a bunch of commandos versus an alien. It's guns and grenades versus this alien. This is this is literally just bows and arrows and kind of like the most basic basic weapons versus an alien monster. So I think that is a very cool concept, and I can't wait to see that. I'm glad also it's rated R too, because
Is it?
I remember there was controversy. Yeah, it's rated R.
Oh, cool. Because on the trailer it says it hasn't been rated yet, so I was thinking about it. Nice.
Yeah, and I remember John Davis, the producer, he said, "Oh, we could cut it to being a PG-13," and I remember I lost my mind, going like, "You can't make Predator. You can't do Predator PG-13 again. The last time I tried to do Predator PG-13, we got Alien versus Predator, and look how that turned out."
But yeah, looking at the trailer itself, I was assuming that it would be R-rated because of how wild it looks. It has to be, right? Like you have bears running around eating animals and stuff. Okay, we're back. I don't know what the fuck happened. Yeah.
Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties.
Yeah. Anyway, you can continue.
Before? Okay, so what's cool about the movie is that there's going to be like two versions of the film on Hulu. So you can watch the film in English or you can watch the Banshee, actually. So basically, according to Trachtenberg, all the actors came in and they're all Comanche, so they redubbed they kind of dubbed over their lines in Comanche. So you can watch the film in Comanche as well, and basically watch it as kind of like a foreign film with Predator on it if you choose.
That's interesting. So, but I'm glad that it's coming out in English though, because
I mean, like I said, you've got those options.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna be watching the English version, and I do hope that they release in theaters here. It doesn't look like it will, but I just hope it does because it looks really good. I was really impressed by the trailer.
Yeah, I think I hope at least that it brings it takes the Predator franchise back, and hopefully this won't be a fucking comedy show.
From the trailer, it does not look like. So.
Thank the fucking Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's move on to the next topic, that is Wednesday. And here is the first look that Netflix put out during Geeked Week. And we have our first look at Jenna Ortega's Wednesday Addams. We even see the thing. And she looks fantastic, man. Look, I don't think I have seen the Addams Family movie. I've seen clips of it, so I don't remember if I've seen it as a child, but I used to watch the cartoon, and I was a fan of that. So she definitely looks like the part, man. Like she looks perfect, and obviously she has been in a lot of horror movies recently, and she has been absolutely amazing in all of them. And she recently won the MTV award for best frightening look.
Mhm.
I don't know why that's a category, but nobody else would have won there because that's basically her forte, and that's basically why she gets hired. So nobody's gonna win that. And it's cool that she's doing this. I'm a fan of hers. I really liked her in You as well. So I'm looking forward to this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not attached to the Addams Family franchise. Like, I didn't watch much of the cartoon. I did see the two Addams Family live action movies with Angelica Houston and Raul Julia and with Christina Ricci as Wednesday Addams.
She was great.
So, oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I mean, like, you can't, it's like Christina Ricci was so iconic as Wednesday Addams for '90s kids that it's hard to find somebody who can kind of like
Yeah.
live up to that. But you don't get any better than Jenna Ortega, man. And I
Yep.
mean, I've made it kind of clear I'm a big fan of hers, and so it's cool to see her kind of take this on, and she looks awesome as Wednesday. I mean, she's got she looks just like her, and yeah, I'm really kind of like excited to kind of check this out, and also the fact that it's from Tim Burton too, which Tim Burton is perfect for the Addams Family franchise. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
So it's
And even
I'm
she
looking.
fits that Tim Burton look.
Oh, absolutely. Like absolutely. Like it's like she looks like right at home in that kind of like Tim Burton-esque type of world.
Yep.
I wouldn't be surprised if he cast her for more stuff. Preferably, probably giving her scissors for hands for her next Tim Burton project. Hey, look, I would kill to see Jenna Ortega with scissor hands. All right, that'd be awesome.
Yep. I mean, I'm all in for Jenna Ortega, man. Like she can do no wrong. Like she has been the horror queen recently, and I'm all for it. I love horror movies. And she has been recently in X and Scream 5. I did
Hmm.
not like Scream 5 that much, but X was really good, and
Yeah, I
she was
mean,
amazing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, like talking to my friend about it because now that Nev Campbell, isn't going to be in Scream 6,
Yeah.
sadly. There's this
Bad
talk
move.
about who's gonna. Yeah, it says this is a stupid move on their part, but like there's this talk kind of going around about who's gonna take over for the franchise now that Nev's not going to be in Scream 6, and I would not be opposed to Jenna Ortega taking over the franchise. I think she fits that role better than Melissa Barrera does.
Yep, she was definitely really good in that movie as well. And
Hmm.
yeah, man, Neve or Nev, I don't know how to pronounce that, but
Nev.
okay, so Nev Campbell was in the first Scream. She definitely is now. So I can see in 10 years or 20 years she will be an iconic horror actor. I can definitely see
Absolutely,
that.
she's gonna be like this generation. I can see her being this generation screen queen in the same way that Nev Campbell and Sarah Michelle Gellar like was for my generation screen queen. I don't know about it's your generation screen queen, but they fit mine when I think of that. So yeah, I think I'm so excited to see Wednesday Addams. When does it come out exactly?
I think it comes out in August next year.
Oh wow. Oh, next year
No, no, no,
in
that
23.
was Prey, sorry. No, this
Oh,
just says coming soon, so I don't know.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well,
There's
I
no
can't wait
date
to
or anything here. Yeah.
can't wait to check this out when we get it.
But one more thing I forgot to mention. I really liked this first look reveal. I think, everyone should do it like this. Like just Just have a separate thing filmed for it. Like, why not? You have all the tools, you have all the time. Just go out and film even superhero suits and stuff. Imagine how cool the Henry Cavill suit would have looked if he actually walked out in a environment like this. Would have been really cool.
Yeah, I think that's the right way to do it these days. I think as much as I like a picture that comes out from the director's Twitter account says, "Hey, here's your first look at Leslie Grace's Batgirl," for instance. As much as I like that method, I think this method of just doing filming something and showing them in character and setting kind of like the tone and the mood of it is the right way to do it.
Yep.
Because you're not just getting a vibe from a photo, you're also getting a vibe of that from what the film will be. That's actually what I remember. I remember Todd Phillips did that for Joaquin's Joker reveal. Like he did it kind of like he showed the makeup test of Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, and it gave you the right vibe of what his Joker would be, but also gives you the vibe of what the Joker film would be as well. So I think that should be kind of like a more kind of like occurring thing going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And even Matt Reeves' Batman. The very first look was him just releasing that red video of him in the suit. So yeah, I definitely think that's the way to go, man. I love this.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of Joker, that is our next topic. So let's
you like how I was setting up for the transition right there, Casey?
Yes, absolutely on purpose.
It was part of my plan. Like right when you mentioned that, I was like, well, we could transition to Joker this way if I do this right here.
Very well done, sir. Very well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I should add that to my resume now.
All right. So we have the first image of the script, which it basically says Joker, and it says Folly Adieu. Which might not be the title, but it means a delusion or mental illness shared by two people in close association. And some other definitions also mention two or more people, but I think adieu would mean two people, right?
Yeah, two people.
Right.
Yeah.
So my first thought was Harley Quinn, and someone mentioned that it could have been Batman. While I don't want Batman to be in this franchise because he's too young, they cornered, themselves into doing that, and I just don't want another Batman showing up. And I just want this to be the Joker. But I would not be opposed to it being an imaginary Batman or Bruce Wayne that he just has in his head, and a person who is playing Harley Quinn, and he kind of alternates between those two. It would be kind of weird and interesting and mind fucking. So I would love it. But what do you think? Firstly, what do you think of the title, if this is a title, and what do you think of the sequel being made, and what do you think? Who do you think would be that other person? Could be another Joker too.
Right. Well, when I heard Folly Adieu, the first thing I thought to myself was the Fall Out Boy album. First thing that comes to mind, which is it's a really good album. Folly Adieu by Fall Out Boy. If you want to listen to some punk rock madness, go with that one. But yeah, so I think that title could refer to, it could be Harley Quinn. Considering the fact that at the end of Joker, he's in Arkham, so you could do the Harleen Quinzel storyline that way, or their version of the Harleen Quinzel storyline. It could be that, or I think it could be maybe another person who is inspired by the Joker, who wants to be like a Joker doppelganger lookalike. Basically, what Willem Dafoe has said how I'd want to be the Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. So it could be that. It could be just kind of like less of finding love and more finding kind of like a brother like that, considering the fact that you have Arthur Fleck, who thinks Bruce Wayne is his brother, and that turns out to be bullshit. So maybe he finds someone who could be like a brother to him in a lot of ways. I don't know. It could be that, or it could be Batman. I wouldn't want it to be Batman because, like, I agree with you. I think that's too early to do Batman, and I feel like the Batman origin story thing. It's one of those things that they've done it, now 4 times already. That I
Right.
just feel like I feel like it's one of those things where you're like, I've seen this before. Let's move into something else. So I don't know if it'll be Batman, but that is I'm leaning more towards either Harley Quinn or kind of like a Joker brother type of thing. But how I feel about the sequel is that I loved the Joaquin movie, but I felt like it always gave me the vibe of a standalone type of film. That it's just, the movie ends with him in Arkham Asylum, and he's created this revolution, and he feels like he's somebody. Like, I felt like that was a good way to kind of like close that story. But now that you are kind of like going for a sequel, it's tough because you're like, where can you go now? Because I mean, I feel like that's why I was so against the idea of bringing Batman into it, just because
Yeah.
I just feel like Batman and the Joker's first meeting. Wow, where have I seen that before? That's kind of like the question I kind of like pose is that I'm more curious about where they can go from here that doesn't feel like you're treading on familiar territory. But I will say, Todd Phillips posted on his Instagram. He also posted Joaquin Phoenix reading the script on his Instagram, and Joaquin Phoenix is very picky about his roles, as we know.
Yep.
So I think the fact that Joaquin is reading the script and it looks like he signed on, it does tell me maybe that he saw something in the script that's worth going back and playing the Joker again.
Exactly. And that's the reason why I want to see it, because look, at first, just like you and everyone else, I was like, we don't need a sequel, and not because movies need sequels, because no movie needs sequels, but we want them. I didn't want sequel to this, and this movie also doesn't need a sequel because it kind of is like that standalone movie, right? Because at the end,
Mm-hmm.
you are left to wonder whether the entirety of the movie even happened, and they never answer it. So some
Yeah.
people think that most of that movie happened. Some people think that none of it happened, and he was in the asylum the entire time, which both ways are cool. But the only thing making a sequel does is limit that different interpretation. Maybe,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe it's just another standalone. It could still be valid, but the only thing that interests me is, like you said, Joaquin Phoenix is coming back. He already won an Oscar. He already has the money. He doesn't need to come back for this role, right? Go on a high note.
Right.
So the only reason he's coming back is because he thinks that there's a really solid idea and script here. And even Todd Phillips, he's a really great filmmaker, and he also agreed to this. If you remember, we he was initially. And we're back. My laptop crashed again. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I was saying that just because of these people, I'm interested in seeing the sequel because I know that it will be something interesting and not just um something forced by WB or anything like that. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I hope the only expectation I have from this is not to make it like a franchise type of thing. I want another crazy standalone type story, and I don't want Batman or other people showing up and turning it into some franchise esque type thing. Um,
Yeah, I don't want.
yeah,
I agree. I don't want it to be like if it walks like a sequel and talks like a sequel, then we will make a franchise of Todd Phillips' version of DC Batman characters.
yeah, that I don't want. And also, it's cool that he's doing this because he gets to prove yet again that the DC Black Label is really good, and they
Mm-hmm.
should absolutely continue doing that. You don't have to keep making sequels where you can make standalone projects with other characters or other ideas. Go make a Bruce Wayne who, you know, gets some powers or anything like that, something like that. Who cares? You don't even have to be canon to the comics or anything. It's just standalone Black Label stories. Go do it. It would be really cool. Like
Yeah,
what if type stories.
I'd say
Yeah.
so.
All right. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the next topic, which is Black Adam. All right. So finally, after so much hype from The Rock, this trailer came out and I saw it. It was cool. It was good. I didn't go crazy like he was hyping it up to be. I didn't think it was the greatest trailer of all time or anything like that. Um, and I also don't think it's a bad trailer. I just um I don't know what to expect from this movie. It seems like I've already seen the most of these scenes in the previous teaser, so there was nothing new to that. They didn't give away any of the story element in the first official trailer, so I don't know why they didn't do that. Well, they kind of did with his character, like what his character is gonna be like, but they didn't say what the main story is, and they didn't say who the villains are or anything like that. So I still don't know, and I am not hyped for this. I'm not really excited for this. I'm gonna watch it. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Obviously this character is very cool. There's Dr. Fate in it, and James Bond is playing Dr. Fate. So there's three reasons why I want to watch this movie. And I know this is a really, far stretching reach, but I would hope for a Superman cameo. Henry Cavill Superman. It would be cool if they added him secretly in reshoots or whatever. I just hope he's there. So, what did you think of it?
I'll start with the big positives, which is I think Hawkman and Doctor Fate look awesome, and I'm excited to see Pierce Brosnan as Doctor Fate. Considering the fact that he owes us after making us sit through Mamma Mia and his singing. Seriously, did you watch Mamma Mia, Casey?
No.
Okay, if you look up Pierce Brosnan singing Mamma Mia, your ears will bleed. He sounds like David Bowie with a stroke.
Damn.
Is a bad singer in that. So just saying, Pierce owes us another badass role after Mamma Mia. So so I'm up for that, and I'm excited to see The Rock as Black Adam, considering the fact that he's going to be playing a bad guy again. And I often say that the reason The Rock became the biggest, the big star that he was in the WWE because he was their top bad guy. So I like the idea of seeing him play a bad guy once again. That being said, and I'm going to be completely honest with you, it looks like a standard Rock movie to me,
Yeah.
and that's not that's a bad thing. I love Hobbs. I enjoy Hobbs and Shaw. I enjoyed Jumanji. and The Rundown and movies like that. I think those movies are blast. But with something like Black Adam, with the fact that it's been The Rock's passion project for so many years, like he's gone through so many drafts, he's been hyping it up since I remember he was talking about the Black Adam movie while he's promoting the game plan. That's that far back. So he's been wanting to make this movie for so long that it's. I felt like, especially with content like Black Adam, which it's Egyptian mythology, which I'm a sucker for Egyptian mythology, and I'm a sucker for that type of like world, that it should have a more kind of like epic feel to it.
Yep.
And I didn't. This trailer didn't feel like an epic feel to me. Like I watched this trailer and I was like, yeah, it looks like fun. It looks like it gave me the same reaction I had when I saw a trailer for Jungle Cruise or San Andreas or like Rampage. Like I watched those trailers and I said that looks like fun.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is another one of those new DC movies that they probably are aiming for, um, pleasing the masses basically. Like
Yeah.
they want to make this movie for everyone, so it's got to have humor and all that. But also, I did feel like The Rock watched some of the MCU movies and, you know, cherry picked the moments he really liked from those movies and put it into this movie, because there are a lot of
Mm-hmm.
things that he he does here which are very very similar to the Marvel movies. So I don't know what's going on there, and I hope the rest of the movie is not like that. Um, and there's also one really ridiculous scene where some guy hits him on the head with the rod. Um, I guess it's kind of funny, but the thing that took me out of that scene is that the rod doesn't bounce, or he doesn't feel any impact on his hand when hitting it. Like imagine you hitting a pole with a rod. Wouldn't you feel the bounce or impact on your hand?
Oh, oh yeah,
Like
absolutely. Like you'd see it vibrate or something.
yeah, I didn't get that part. Like the rod clearly bent, but this guy just doesn't move at all. I don't know if it's his fault or the direction, or they just wanted it to be like that. I don't know. But it did kind of feel odd. And also, I see a lot of people complaining about the yellow filter, and I do think that it's a little bit much. I guess,
Yeah, I agree too.
yeah, I guess the director just wanted to go with the traditional Egypt, Middle Eastern yellow filter type thing. Um, I don't know if it's as bad, to take me out of the movie, but it's. I hope that it gets fixed. So
So do I, because that you do kind of like put up a good point right there. They just started putting that filter in a lot of movies that take place in Egypt. Like
yeah,
we saw that in Wonder Woman '84, and we saw that in like we saw it in like Moon Knight and stuff like that. And so
yeah,
it is, yeah, it's weird for them to do it, because I remember like the Brendan Fraser Mummy films, like they didn't even do that yellow filter. So
yeah.
I don't know why, I don't know where that trend came from. It's weird.
It is very weird. Like anytime there's Middle Eastern or Indian or Asian, South Asian countries or Mexico, you have that yellow golden filter every time.
Yeah, as a way to say, see, this is the desert.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I live in the desert. We don't even have that red filter.
Yeah, it's weird. But yeah, I hope they tone it down just a little bit, not too much. But yeah.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too. And you do bring up that a good point that The Rock probably did, like watch a bunch of MCU films and kind of took those cues. And also, this is from the director of Jungle Cruise too. So Jungle Cruise had that kind of like that type of that style, that Disney style of humor. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took those cues, from their time experiences working on that and just brought it in right here.
Hmm. Interesting. But also, The Rock knows the audience. He knows how to hype it up and all that. So I hope he knows what he's doing. I'm not a big fan of his movies. Like they are popcorn movies, and I'm not really into that. Although I did like San Andreas, that was cool. I didn't
That
see
was
any of the
fun.
other ones. um,
You should you should see his more. The thing is, The Rock has proven he can be a more serious, dramatic actor in movies like Southland Tales and Gridiron Gang. It's just the case that studios pay him stupid amounts of money just for
yep.
him to do the dumb action movies.
But his movies also perform very well, so who's to blame him?
Oh, absolutely,
I also I
exactly.
just remembered I saw him in Central Intelligence as well. That was hilarious, man.
I watched the movie on a plane and I could not stop laughing. I feel bad. I feel bad for the person I was sitting next to.
Yeah, that was really fun. But yeah, I hope. Also, there's another thing with the schedules, though. So this is coming out in October, and then we have
Right.
Shazam 2 in December, and then we have
Mhm.
Aquaman in April.
I think March.
Oh, March, and then we have Flash
Yeah.
in June.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this is post Flash or pre Flash, because all those other movies, like Batgirl included, are post Flash. So
Right.
we don't know. But also we know that we have a Peacemaker cameo here, like the hardcore character. She's gonna be in this movie, and I think there was a rumor that Waller is gonna be here as well, right?
I didn't read that rumor, but I didn't know Harcourt. I also didn't know Harcourt was in Black Adam. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think she has something to do with the villains in this movie, and she's basically doing the Waller job here, kind of.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, let's hope this is good. Let's hope the second trailer,
Good
you
stuff.
know, shows the better color palette and also shows more of the story. I hope. But that's about it. I am not expecting this to be huge. I'm not expecting to fall in love with this movie. I'm sure it's just gonna be an entertaining movie.
Yeah, that's same with me. Like I expect myself to walk out of the theater and say, "Oh wow, that was really fun."
Yeah.
And and look, I know not every DC movie has to be like an epic story. Like, and I'm completely fine with that. Fine with that. I mean, like it's why I like. I mean, I like Birds of Prey for for that reason of just being just a simple crime story. But the difference is with the fact that that story lends itself to those types of characters.
Yeah.
Whereas with Black Adam, you're dealing with Egyptian mythology and magic and so forth. Like it should feel like an event.
With a very tragic past.
Exactly, exactly. You with the tragic past and with the world's biggest movie star in the forefront, like it should feel like a big deal. Which I mean, which is why it's baffling to me that they did push this back to October instead of keeping it in July, which is what it was supposed to be in originally.
Yeah. It's weird. I hope
Yeah,
that was just to, fine tune it even more, because um yeah, this trailer was not perfect, and I hope he listens to those 2% of people who didn't approve of this. Like he said, 98% global reviews. I don't know what that even meant, but um, yeah, man. Like, I get that you're trying to hype up this movie and you want to listen to the audience. You say that, but you have to also try that. Like, if people are finding some issues with this trailer, then maybe try to fix that. Um,
absolutely.
yeah, and it's just nitpicks. It's not something major. So,
No,
all right, let's move on to the final topic of today. And that is Rebel Moon. Dude,
hmm
this Geek Week was fucking amazing just for two things. The first thing is, Anthony Hopkins reveal in the movie. And then as soon as that news dropped, Zack posted this picture of this character whose name is Jimmy. And
a movie with people whose names are Blood Axe and Cora and Harmata, and we get a robot named Jimmy.
yep. And Sir
That's
Anthony
funny.
Hopkins is playing that character. He's voicing that
Absolutely.
character. So it's kind of funny. And apparently this droid or robot, whatever, is actually he once defended the once slain king. So this dude has seen some shit. And to have a better look, there's an enhanced image here that shows kind of the design of the mask or the headpiece or whatever. And then the hand is painted in blue. So there might be some invisible hand or holograph hand going on here, which would be very interesting. And there's a chest plate, and you see some elements in there as well. So it's a pretty fucking cool design. Like, what can I say? A robot wearing tribal, horns and stuff like skull, and stuff like that is really cool to see. Like when I first saw that news of him, voicing that character and the description that was given, I was thinking more like C3PO, but a little more buffed and stuff like that. But this guy is completely different from what I was expecting. Like who would expect this? Like this is absolutely crazy. But I love this look, dude. It's absolutely nuts. And what do you think of it?
First off, I'm so excited to see Anthony Hopkins. First off, working with Zack, because I mean, like, the thing with Rebel Moon is that with Zack's movies, he always tries to get like some really prestigious actors into his movies, whether it's like Russell Crowe, Kevin Costner, and Kerry Hines, and guys like that. And Rebel Moon, I was like, oh wow, I mean, Charlie Hunnam and Carrie Elways, and they're fantastic actors. They're not like a Shakespearean type of actor. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But with someone like Anthony Hopkins, I was like, all right, we got some Dr. Hannibal Lecter action in here. I love it.
I mean,
So
he was in Transformers, so I wouldn't
yeah,
count this past him.
that's true. Well, Transformers and Bad Company. That's a horrible film. It's Anthony Hopkins trying to do the goofy comedy with Bad Company, which I mean, he tries, but yeah. But aside from that, it's awesome to see him, working with Zack, and yeah, the design looks awesome. Like, because Anthony Hopkins has a pretty epic voice. Like, it's one of those voices that you feel like you're going to gain a whole lot of wisdom just hearing his voice. So I can see his voice coming out of something like that. Like, I'm
Yep,
waiting for somebody to do kind of like an edit and just putting like Silence of the Lambs dialogue just with that photo right there.
that's a good
Like,
idea.
what?
I might be the one doing
Yeah,
that.
oh, dude, you got to put one of him just kind of going like, "What did they say, Clarice? What did they say?"
Yeah, it will be really cool. Dude,
Oh
this
yeah.
cast has been, amazing. Every announcement has been really big. There's just one drawback here. That was Rupert Friend. He was cast and then he was dropped. And then I saw Obi-Wan and I was really happy about that. Um, so,
Is he bad on the show? Because I mean, like I've only seen him
oh,
in I've only seen him in Hitman Agent 47, and I was like, oh, he's fine in it.
I've only seen him in that as well, and I just hated that movie because it was
So
so
it's
not
a
Hitman.
horrible movie.
Yeah, but he was all right. But here in
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, it was yeah.
So you feel like we got an upgrade going from him
Oh, absolutely. Ed Screen.
to Ajax from
Yep.
from Deadpool.
Yep. Absolutely, man. He's fantastic. He's always the go-to, it seems, the replacement. Previously, also he was in talks with the replacement, and then he dropped down because of some character issue, right?
Yeah, I remember. Well, he was originally cast in Hellboy, and
Right.
I remember he dropped out of that because the character was written to be an Asian. It was written to be Asian, and
Right,
he's
right, right.
obviously not. So I'm out of this. Which I get major props for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it does feel like, yeah, he's always kind of like the go-to. He's kind of like the mechanic, well, I mean, literally, he did put one. No, he was a transporter, not a mechanic. But he's kind of like the mechanic where he gets called in to fix things, basically.
Yeah.
Like, he's a fixer.
But he's really cool. Like I enjoyed his role in that. I also saw him in another movie that I'm not currently remembering. But he was great in that as well. So I'm really hyped for this cast. And this is not even the full cast. Like they are definitely gonna be announcing more soon. And um, Zack should have a teaser in about 2 months because they have started shooting last month, and
Yeah.
they probably have ample footage. And I wouldn't be surprised if he drops more behind the scenes stuff like this. And speaking of that, we have another video that he posted here of a makeup test. How
Yeah.
cool is that? Dude,
She looks awesome.
absolutely.
First off, I give Zach props for going for the old school alien makeup thing, especially in this day and age where you could just easily just do an army of CGI aliens, but he's still going for the old school method of people in makeup. So I'm happy about that, and she looks amazing, whoever she is.
Yeah, she is a producer on Corridor Digital. And do you watch that
Oh, no
channel?
kidding.
Yeah.
No,
So,
I didn't. No, I didn't know that. Wow, that's
yeah,
amazing.
she is the one who does the Vessi ads.
Huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
she did this once. And that makes me excited. One, obviously, because, she got cast in this movie, but secondly, because that just, increases the chances of getting Zach on the show. So,
Ooh, you can. I love to see Zach do kind of like a breakdown with them and talk about the effect how they brought Tig into Army of the
oh
Dead or
yeah.
creating creating Doc or how they created Doctor Manhattan and stuff like that.
Absolutely. I didn't even think about his previous work. Like, they absolutely are gonna jump into the older Zack movies as well. I was just thinking
Mm-hmm.
they would do Snyder Cut and Army of the Dead and maybe Rebel Moon. But yeah, they'll definitely jump into his older movies as well. One full episode focused with Zack would be awesome. And that's, everybody is asking for that. And even they are trying. Like, Zack is probably not free.
Oh yeah, I mean he's
Filming two
he's got a
movies.
he's got a lot. Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate filming two movies, and also he's overseeing two animated shows too.
Yeah.
So dude's got a lot on his plate.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, I'm so excited for this movie. This is the most anticipated movie for me. Like this is everything I wanted from Zack, like my favorite director and my favorite genre. So both in one. This is made for me. And we have Junkie XL on the music. So it's
Mm-hmm.
just a perfect balance. Um
And yeah, absolutely, man. And the fact is, it's him at Netflix, which they're letting him do whatever he wants to do with no compromises or anything like that. I mean, you see Army of the Dead, and you clearly he didn't have to fight over any story element with them regarding that film. So he's free to do whatever he wants, and I couldn't be happier. I can't wait to see him tackle on this go back to sci-fi, pure sci-fi,
yeah.
and with this crew. The only thing I want is this better get a theatrical release like Army of the Dead did.
Oh yeah, dude, and worldwide. Army of the Dead didn't get a worldwide release. Like it was only for
It
1 week.
didn't?
No, it did not. It was
Oh
only
my god.
US. Yeah,
Oh, oh my god. Yeah, absolutely. Make it worldwide. I
yeah.
mean, like
Like
I
I
don't know. I don't
cannot
know.
watch Rebel Moon on my TV. Like, come on.
Honestly, man, I completely agree with you because I'd watch Army of the Dead on TV and I'm like, yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't top the big theater screen. So
And the
I really
sound.
hope that sound, of course, incredible. I mean, when Viva Las Vegas blasts through the theater speakers, and it sounds a whole lot better than it does on my on these speakers right here that you can see. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do hope you guys. I do hope there's a worldwide kind of thing. I don't know what like. I don't know if it's because Netflix has to deal with certain theater chains, but I would hope that they can make the exception with more global theater chains rather than just I think they have a deal with us right here with Fathom Events, but I would hope that they would make a deal with worldwide theater chains.
It could be that as well as just having the exclusive thing. You know how obviously Zack Snyder has a big fan base, and the moment Rebel Moon drops, you'll have a huge chunk of viewership right then and there. But if you release it in theaters, Netflix kind of loses out on that a little bit. So I'm not sure exactly how they are gonna tackle that aspect of it. But I hope they do, because this movie cannot be watched on a screen, man. Like it's it's bad enough that I didn't get to see Zack Snyder's Justice League in the theater, but this has to be like, this is like they will go to space and planets and stuff. Like I want this to be on a big screen.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a grand story that should be seen on a grand screen. Like I would argue that this shouldn't be for just standard movie screen. This should be for an IMAX
Yep,
IMAX presentation.
yep. And especially because look, this is kind of what Star Wars is for Zack, right? So he wants this
Mhm.
movie to be his Star Wars, and obviously a big, big part of Star Wars is the sound. The sound design is always, iconic, and I'm pretty sure Zack will try to create an iconic sound design for this movie as well. So I want that big sound to be, my first experience with it to be in a theater.
Absolutely, man. Same. Fingers crossed. Whenever we'll hear more news whenever
Yep.
this drops.
Yeah. I mean, he tried to do the theatrical thing for Zack Snyder's Justice League, but couldn't do it, so he did a private screening. But I'm sure he would want to do this as, a theatrical release first as well, because, um, look, he's trying to create a franchise here, so Netflix kind of has to listen. So
Mm.
he has to. I mean, at least for 30 days. So, and it has been proven that, the movies are doing better on streaming once they are released in theater. Even the Batman did that, Spider-Man also did that. So they are doing better on streaming once they release in theater. So it's not like they
Yeah,
are losing out a bunch.
no, not at all. And I feel like the whole kind of like theater versus streaming thing. I feel like that should be seen as kind of like an option of viewing it in the same way that people listen to their albums either through like a music streaming service or through vinyl.
Yeah,
And I feel like that's kind of like how they should kind of go for that approach
I
personally.
completely agree. Yeah. So even if it's day and date, I wouldn't mind. Like if you
I
are
would.
dropping it on Netflix the same day as theaters, I wouldn't mind at all. I just want the option of going to the theater. But yeah.
You and me both, buddy. I mean, and like not every, and I'm not saying every Netflix movie has to do
Yeah.
that. Like for me, like during the HBO Max day and date thing, I didn't watch like Space Jam 2 or Malignant in theaters. I watched them on HBO Max. Well, first off, thank God I didn't pay money for Space Jam 2. But the point is though, like it's nice to have those types of options, and I think that's kind of like I feel like your best of both worlds type of scenario.
Yep. I agree. All right, with that out, we have concluded our show today. That went very smoothly.
Oh yeah.
But for real, it was really cool, having you here as a host as well. And Mar is not here, but you are doing a really fine job. And um, I don't know when he'll be back, but we'll definitely have you on next week as well. So until then, thank you everyone for joining. You can follow me at Krypton Caged, and you can follow the show at The Real Talk Live on all social media. Where can they find you, Rokan?
You can find me on Vero and Twitter at Roku9413, and you can find me on Instagram at ThatRealRoku.
All right. Until next weekend, goodbye and take care.